Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 1 in a best of 7 series between Az and Glade here on Axis of Industry. We have Glade spawning here as the purple Zerg player at the 6 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Az spawning here as the red Protoss player at the 9 o'clock position. For those of you guys who have not seen this map and who have not played on this map, this is because this is not an official StarCraft 2 map from Blizzard. This is a fan-made map by Dimfish, and actually a very interesting map. One of the things that you'll notice as we see Az already scouting out is there is this low ground expansion here. This low ground expansion has only 7 mineral patches, but has 3 Vespene geysers, one of them being blocked by destructible debris. So one important thing to keep in mind is if you try to early expand into this location, you will not be able to harvest that early gas. Also, this expansion is very much exposed to the center. However, because this is not a cross spawn, Az will be able to block out this one hatchery being trying to place down over here. No, not being placed down yet, as Glade now moves out with a drone. We do see an Overlord now moving out as well, going to go ahead and scout out Az's position here. Now, a couple of things to note on the map is there is debris and brush right here, so it is possible to hide units in this position. This third expansion, which is blocked by destructible debris, is able to be protected by units along this high end, so you are able to protect any of your workers if units try to come along this side and this side as well, as long as you have range units. Also, there are high ground expansions here at the 7 o'clock location or 8 o'clock location and 2 o'clock location. I believe both of them are both of them are high ground locations. So this is one of the few times where the high ground mineral patch is actually these gold mineral patches instead of these standard low ground locations. But they are blocked by destructible rocks as well. Also, a couple of things to note is all of these towers are non-traversable. That means that Reapers cannot jump onto them as well. Colossi have to walk around these towers as well. I believe they have to walk around those towers as well, as though they were holes in the map, and they also do block line of sight. Back over here, we now see Az getting a low ground gateway, now training up one zealot. An important thing to note as this particular game took place during the 1.1.1, not the 1.1.2. So if you take a look at the Nexus only has 1,500 hit points and shields combined. The hatchery only has 1,250 hit points on that hatchery. Now, as this game continues, I'm expecting a lot of just early aggression, and now Az placing a pylon here, preventing a hatchery being placed down by Glade. So Glade really wants to get this low ground expansion. I'm a little curious as to what Az is going to be doing in this particular instance. He does have one zealot here, but he does not have a second zealot, and he has not walled off this location yet. On top of that, he is now currently supply locked, as these zerglings are now going to try to run straight into the base. Will they be able to get by here? And it looks like they will. One zealot trying to hold that position, but not too much there. 2 zealots now being able to fight out as well. So 2 zealots now trying to engage those zerglings. However, 3 zerglings will be able to make it into the base of Az. Az currently running off of one assimilator and needs to try to protect these probes, as these zerglings now coming in to try to deal damage, and those zerglings are now backing away. Back over here, we do see some zealots on that low ground, and these zealots now trying to get repositioned here in order to protect this expansion. We do see a chrono boosted stalker now coming into play, so that chrono boosted stalker should be able to protect any zerglings. And now zerglings trying to take down this one pylon most likely will not work, as that stalker is now out. That stalker does have enough of a range, and now that zergling down to 23 hit points will be forced to pull back. We do still see one overlord in the air, as another swarm of zerglings now trying to move around the map and try to push out. So these zerglings will try to hide in the brush over here, and now one stalker just getting a couple quick shots into this location. One probe may get taken down, and down it goes. So Glade in a very dominant position so far, with a very large army putting on a lot of that early pressure. However, as soon as a building is placed there, yeah, there we go, a forge being placed there, the probe on the wrong side of this forge and gateway wall-in will not be able to run back inside and was taken down. We do see a warp gate now, the warp gate research currently being researched out of this cybernetics course. So that warp gate ability will allow all of these gateways to produce units on the far side and then get these units past this one particular choke point here. I'm surprised that Az has yet to try to create an expansion down over here. One of the reasons, there we go, Az now getting an expansion over here at the 9 o'clock location will be able to keep up in the economic game with Glade. However, Glade already has his natural expansion and now continuing to mine. Taking a look at the harvester count, we have 20 versus 26. So Az does have a little bit of an economic lead, able to mine gas while Glade is not able to. And now we have three spine crawlers coming into position as well, along with a lot of creep tumors. We do see 3 queens in play for Glade. So Glade with 3 queens will be able to hold off any early void raid or phoenix pushes that try to come out. We do also see a Twilight Council. So with that Twilight Council, oh, I thought he was going to go for a Stalker Blink, but instead going for a Dark Shrine. So with an early Dark Shrine, he will be able to utilize the gas that he is getting off of these two assimilators while trying to saturate and not have a too heavy mineral tactic, enabling him to get a stronger economy. So Az may be able to get a very strong economy and then perhaps be able to run off of 5 or 6 gateways very easily in just a moment. We do see that this Nexus nearing completion, 1 Zergling unable to get through here, and now we also see 1 Overlord here. So Glade with 1 Overlord may be able to get a Nidus Worm into this position. We do see that Az has 1 scouting pylon in his base. These bases are fairly large, so you have to be careful about that. When you ever have a large base, you want to make sure that you have enough sight in your base to make sure that there are no Nidus Worms. Back in the base of Az, we now see additional gateways being warped in as well, so it is going to be a 4-gate play, 1 photon cannon here and 1 forge here. Back over here, you now continue to see that creep now making its way out across the map. The creep will be spreading fairly quickly as it makes its way, and now a lot of spine crawlers here. Army-wise, you now see, or sorry, economy-wise, you now see Glade with a significant lead, 48 harvesters, and now I believe I saw another hatchery being placed down. Yeah, another hatchery being placed here. So here comes another hatchery, and now upgrading also to tier 2. So with this additional hatchery, he will be able to get even more units. Kind of surprised that he did not go for an expansion here. It looks like Glade was trying to. However, we saw these Dark Templars now running in. We are at tier 2, so Glade will be able to upgrade an Overseer in just a second as these Dark Templars now start to slash away at these drones. These drones are going to get taken down fairly quickly as an Overseer Cocoon now already being morphing in. So this 1 queen may get taken down, already down to 45 hit points, now being microed away. That queen does have a decent speed, down to 3 hit points. So once again, Zerg natural regen for the win, and now this Dark Templar needs to try to fight back against the rest of these units here. 1 Dark Templar is still trying to run around. Zerglings are faster than this Dark Templar, especially on creep. These Dark Templars only have the same movement speed as a worker, and very nicely done using a transfusion to heal a queen at the very last moment. We now see Glade now moving around with this 1 drone, trying to figure out where he can perhaps put another hatchery and try to stay up on top of this economic build. Glade now moving around with this 1 Overseer, trying to find this Dark Templar, unable to, as the Dark Templar is even difficult for me to see, kind of hiding underneath this 1 Overlord here. So unless you were watching at that mini-map, you would not be able to see him hiding. Back over here, we now see more and more Dark Templars currently warping in as well. So that double Dark Templar with that double side blade not taking down any of these creep tumors, and I think that's a little bit of a mistake. Creep tumors are so essential for Zerg players. Roaches get a movement speed of almost 4 on creep. Also Hydralisks get a movement speed of 3.37, so that is all very strong. 1 Dark Templar now making its way out across the map will be able to quickly come across this hatchery. This hatchery currently being built will take some time to finish, and it looks as though this Dark Templar, if he scouts in the correct direction, will be able to spot it and see it. However, a Glade already moving out with an Overseer into this position and making sure to keep track and keep tabs on this base. Over here, we do see that the Overlord has moved down just ever so slightly as the level 1 weapons upgrade now being completed. So the level 1 weapons upgrade will allow those Zealots to essentially 2-hit any Zerglings unless we get the armor upgrades. I do not see an evolution chamber just quite yet. As I speak, Glade now throwing down, or now morphing in 2 evolution chambers. 1 Dark Templar now making its way in, and now quickly coming across here. Going to get a couple quick slashes. However, too many Zerglings, the sheer number of Zerglings able to take down that 1 Dark Templar. However, there's still 1 Dark Templar in the base of Glade, is still hiding off to the north, still has 1 Overseer here, so that Overseer just keeping track of the base, want to gain additional sight. And now we see Az doing a very aggressive expansion as well. We also see essentially 2 additional changelings now walking and making their way over here. However, Az should quickly be able to notice that there shouldn't be any Zealots on that far side, and there we go with the photon cannon, able to take down those 2 changelings there. We do see that the Nexus is currently being warped in, and now it looks like we have almost a front door seal. So with a gateway and then 2 photon cannon and another pylon here, zerglings, roaches, and hydralisks, if they try to run up this ramp, first they will not have sight onto these photon cannons until they get all the way up, and these photon cannons by that time may have already killed them. We now see zerglings moving in over here, trying to protect this expansion. We do see a queen now being trained over here at this hatchery. So this hatchery now will be able to get more and more drones. And now you see Glade just doing a great job spreading creep across the map. And now in comes a Nidus Worm. So a Nidus Worm will be popping up in just a moment, taking 20 units of time in order to finish. And those zerglings will be just coming out of there in just a moment. We also see a lot of roaches here. So two command rows of roaches. Sorry, 4 command rows of roaches, as those roaches and zerglings simply swarming out of this location, now going after the key tech buildings, wants to take down this robotics bay and perhaps even these additional robotics facilities. Stalkers, however, being poorly microed here and not moving in to engage. All of these units need to really push out here. Roaches have a range of 3, otherwise Glade would just be able to dominate in this situation. One Colossus now trying to continue to fight over here as these roaches decide to just hamper back and pull back into the situation, and now down goes this Nidus Worm. So the Nidus Worm quickly taken down. However, one robotics facility and one robotic support bay was taken down. The second robotics facility has already replaced it, and now probably will need to warp in another building as well if he wants to continue to train Colossi. We now see that Az was trying to deal damage towards this forge, perhaps take it down so that all these units will be able to move out. A little surprised, there we go, are getting Stalker Blink now, no Zealot Charge just quite yet. So we are going to have Zealot Charge and Stalker Blink in just a moment. And now Az with a decent size army, 4850 compared to Glade's 4150, should be able to deal some economic damage and perhaps try to put pressure. We do see, however, that there is a stronger economy for Glade. Glade sitting on 55 harvesters, and once again we have an engagement over here. Roaches and Stalkers continuing to fight. One Colossi was taken down. Roaches with that range of 3 still able to deal a lot of damage as these mass roaches now trying to micro back and forth. Zealots trying to get within attack distance. However, Az does not yet have Stalker Blink, so unable to micro any of these Stalkers back or try to even chase these roaches on the creep. So now we see more and more of these Stalkers trying to deal more damage. However, the roach able to barely escape there and doing a nice job once again. So these roaches were trying to put pressure onto Az's units here. We now see an observer moving out, so these observers will be able to deal or reveal sight onto these creep tumors. And once these creep tumors are taken down, all of those roaches will be moving at a very slow speed. However, we have a batch of probes now making their way straight into a group of zerglings there. So those zerglings now getting their way with these probes getting some damage, and now deciding to pull back. Not quite sure why, as now they are just running and taking even more damage. Zerglings able to just come back in, and now down go the rest of those zerglings. No, 2 more zerglings now trying to make their way up this ramp. Will quickly see the wrong end of a photon cannon, and there we go. 2 zerglings quickly taken down. And these zerglings will be able to just walk up this ramp and start mining out of this location. We do see zerglings, however, now pushing in over here, and now down goes this one Nexus. So the Dark Templars and Zealots now trying to chase after these zerglings out here, and now Glade with a very, very hard hit economically speaking, losing a lot of his probes. So now all of these probes are forced to do some long distance mining. However, another fight over here. So Az continuing to push, doing a lot of damage back and forth, trying to get these Stalkers. Zerglings unable to really get within melee range as they're getting choked up behind these roaches here. And now in comes some Dark Templars as well, as low hit point Stalkers are being blinked to that back. So very nicely done. And now these Dark Templars will be able to continue to rack up more and more kills. Glade does not have an observer in this location, so will not be able to see these Dark Templars. No Overseer, no Spore Crawlers at this time. So Dark Templars continuing to fight back and forth. Stalkers should be blinking, and once again, there we go, doing a great job on this fight. And also we have some Stalkers over here. So Az now taking a very, very economic lead, even though he is forced to do some long distance mining here. Surprise, Az has not warped in a Nexus over here, as these units have not taken down this hatchery. Not quite sure why they're not going after that hatchery. Now trying to go after that one Overseer. That Overseer very, very down to 117 hit points, and now Dark Templar is able to come in and deal a lot of damage as well. We do see that those Zerglings are trying to come in as well. That Overseer needs to get shot down, and down it goes. So these Dark Templars will be able to continue to fight and deal more damage towards these drones and towards these Zerglings. Zerglings, however, now need to morph in another Overseer. That another Overseer will be coming in just a second. You see that these Dark Templars getting up and just racking up those kills. Almost 20 kills on one, 9 kills on the other, and that fight has now ended. So we now see a couple of Zealots trying to finish off the rest of the fight here, and unable to stick around as those Zerglings were able to finish them off. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between Glade and Az here on Axis of Industry.